Welcome to our city council meeting. If we can ask for the Roswell City Council for April the 9th, Thursday, 6 p.m. If the clerk will call the roll, please.
Councilor Marujo?
Here.
Councilor Arnold? Present. Councilor Cavan?
Here.
Councilor Gass?
Cruising.
Councilor Oropesa?
Here.
Councilor Corn?
Here.
Councilor Johnson?
Here.
Councilor Hildenbrand?
Present.
Councilor Halverson? Here. Councilor Moore? Here. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Have a quorum. If we would like, I'd like to have the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilor Cavan. Kind of today, it's his son just returned from his National Guard duty and gets to go back to work at our police department. So we're working on that. So Councilor Cavan, if you'll lead us with the pledge, and Carlos, would you please lead us in the prayer?
Mr. Mayor, thank you for the honor. Please join me in honoring our great nation, our flag, in its 250th year. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father God, we come before you to give you all glory and honor, Father God. Thank you for allowing us to be here and also for the people out in the audience, Father God. Father God, we ask you to bless our leaders in the nation, state, and our city, Father God, that they do the right thing for our good, Father God. We ask you to lead us, Father God, and our choices tonight be through you, Father God. And we give you all glory and honor. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilors Cavan and Marujo. Thank you very much. I tell you, it was a real thrill to see Officer Cavan come back home after his tour of duty. He's done real well. He's lost quite a bit of weight. He really looks good if you haven't seen him. It's a pleasure to have him back, and we certainly thank him for his service in the National Guard. And so we do have just kind of where we're kind of looking right now. We've gone a long time with waiting on FEMA, and so we're looking at getting some things, putting some things together. We have got to get FEMA moving, and if not, we're going to look at some plans, and our city manager's looking at some plans so we can see to get going and get this back. We've had all our information into FEMA for a long time, and they haven't acted, and it's time we put this flood behind us. And so, and then also in that, Mr. Tellings is here tonight, which is really good because our air races we're working on our second year. And Fred, we're really honored and glad to have you back, and thank you very much for being here. We also have some guests from Luprino here, which is one of our largest employers in town. Thank you very much for being here. And everybody else, anybody who hasn't, if you have any problems at all with parts, just look for the guy in the kind of orangey yellow shirt, and you can take him out behind the woodshed or whatever you need to get whatever you need there. Mr. Burks? That's him right there, everybody knows. But anyway, thank you all for coming. So next, moving right down our agenda for approval of the agenda, approval of the agenda. Council.
I don't know how to do it, Chad.
We've got a few little.
You need to come over here and see me and figure it out.
I can hear him.
What?
No, somebody's on the phone.
Okay, we've got a couple of little housekeeping duties on agenda item number 14. The number 377881, looks like 20 I've already worked it out, is not consistent with the desire of the Finance Committee. The correct number is 438 921 and 41 cents.
and 41 cents.
41 cents.
It's $438,921.41.
Yes, sir.
Replacing the 377,891.20.
Correct.
Okay?
And then I don't know that yours may have already been corrected when I picked mine up on item 40. Your recommendation for appointment to the cemetery board is that put the Reed instead of Sarah Reed. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Should be Sarah Reese,
That is correct.
or this is correct.
Sarah Reese is the correct name.
Sarah Reese. R-E.
S-E.
So we need to do that. And I've got one more here, item number 34 to be closed.
34? And you're, what are you doing?
Well, I'd like to go back to committee.
Item 34? Councilor Hildebrand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I'd like to go back to either finance or legal committee so it could be readjusted so we don't adjust that here in council.
Budget wise, pulling it, but you want to send it back to a committee?
So send it back to finance committee.
Send that, we'll get to that point, and we'll make that motion.
Finance or?
Well, you're pulling it from the agenda. We won't ever make that motion.
No, I told you I've withdrawn that amendment. Listen to me, I've withdrawn pulling item 34. We get to that agenda, then we can have a discussion on sending it on or wherever you want to send it.
Okay.
Okay? And
Thank you.
with that, it's not easy to get along with, you just tell me.
Excuse me, please, we can't have an argument right now. We're just.
It's too early on.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Corn.
I had a counselor on the other end, waving her hand a minute ago. Councilman Arnold.
Did someone raise their hand down there?
No.
They all deny it.
All right, well, I'm getting blind, can't hear, can't walk, can't dance. Probably can't swim. Tim Burris probably hold me under the water if I showed up at the water center. All right, so with that, with those amendments, Mr. Mayor, I move to the agenda.
We have a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second?
Second.
Who's that?
Carlos.
Carlos. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, if, the clerk can call the roll.
Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold? Yes. Counselor Cavan?
Yes.
Counselor Gass, are you online? Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Counselor Corn?
Yes.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Yes.
Counselor Halverson? Yes. Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, so next we have item 2 on today's agenda. That is the approval of the consent agenda. Councilman Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, I move the adoption of the entire consent agenda from item 3 through 30.
Second.
And we have a motion by Councilman Corn, seconded by Councilor Cavan. Is there any further discussion on approving the adoption of the consent agenda? Okay, if the clerk will call the roll.
Counselor Marujo?
Yes.
Counselor Arnold? Yes. Counselor Cavan?
Yes.
Counselor Oropesa?
Yes.
Counselor Corn?
Yes.
Counselor Johnson?
Yes.
Counselor Hildebrand?
Aye.
Counselor Halverson?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
Yes.
Motion passes 9-0.
Okay, so by a vote of 9, affirmative, none negative, that item 2, the approval of the agenda has been approved. Okay, so we don't do that. Next, item 31. Airport updates, okay. Mr. Omar, item 31, airport update.
All right, good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an update on the Air Center. Tonight, I will walk you briefly through recent progress, current activities, and what's ahead. First, I'm gonna start off with demolition and safety. I'd like to start with an important milestone. And the milestone is the demolition of buildings 112 and 115. They've now been completed. These buildings have been a concern to the Air Center for, it's been almost 2 years. And so the removal represents progress, both in important safety and overall appearance of the Air Center. So I don't know if you've ever drove out there and just seen the two burn, well, the burn building and then the other one is falling down. Both of those have been removed from the property. So now our attention is now on building 66. But at this time, it's still under investigation by the ATF and hasn't been released for further action. However, earlier this week, we met on site with Aircel's insurance adjusters along with our team to evaluate conditions. As a result of that meeting, we're now exploring limited cleanup options and additional safety measures that we can take while we're waiting for a formal clearance to start removing the building. But we'll continue to keep the council updated as situations evolve. And so all of this is all taking part to ensure that we maintain a safe, compliant, and high-quality facility for both regulators and the community. So the tenant and facility updates. On the tenant side, we still have a vacancy. 1081 is nearing completion and should be ready for the museum occupation soon. There have been minor delays related to the fire suppression system. But we've been actively working with the contractor and expect to move forward shortly. Building 66 has been identified as a future home for Lifehouse out of Carlsbad. We recently had a tour of the space, and they showed strong interest, and we're very encouraged with the potential of that building. We also have a few vacant buildings, including the IDEA building, but we are currently in discussions with prospective tenants and are hopefully to have more updates here soon. So in closing, the Air Center continues to make a steady progress across infrastructures, operations, and tenant development. We appreciate your continued support, and we will keep you informed as these efforts move forward. Thank you, and I stand for any questions.
Have any questions, Councilor Hildebrand?
Yeah, could you give us an update on the status of flight status out there? As to the, are you knowledgeable of the load factor for the new United flight?
Yeah, so the new United flight was, I think for the month of, March? For the month of March, it was around 1,500. That was departures to Denver. So it's kind of up and down a little bit. We've been actively doing advertisement for that flight, so we're hoping that it's going to go up.
Does that represent what percentage? The 1,500? Just so.
I'd have to check on that. I'm not sure on the percentage. About 50.
50%?
Yeah, there's.
It's a smaller plane than Americans.
Okay, thank you for
People are
this.
still learning about it. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Can I comment?
Yes.
If you have time, I know you're super busy, but when you
talk about the buildings? Is there any chance we can see pictures of the buildings?
For the buildings, sure.
Thank you.
Do we have any of the museum properties in that building yet?
The museum has had a few deliveries there. I know they got shelves, that kind of stuff, that's been delivered to the building.
What is the estimated completion date on that?
So right now, all we're waiting on is for a company out of, I believe they're out of El Paso. El Paso or Las Cruces, but they're supposed to come back down and check the fire alarm, the monitoring system, because the panel it's got a bunch of lights on it, so it's in fault. So they're gonna come down, look at that. Once they get that done and completed, we can get everything turned back on and then get the fire marshal out to do his inspection. And I think that's the last thing that we're waiting on.
Councilor Yarrow.
Yes, I'm sorry, this actually is not a question for you. Can we scoot down? I'm almost on the edge here. And I hope we're not. Yeah.
Everybody take one step to the right.
Everybody-
One step to the right.
Yeah.
It should be over the edge.
Yeah.
Are you feeling claustrophobic?
I'm sorry for that, but.
No, that's right.
Okay, yeah, because you guys had a lot of room. Poor guy here was trying to get. Thank you very much. My apologies.
Yeah, here, and this is Mr. Fred Taylor.
And Mr. Tallons, welcome. We're glad you're back.
Glad you're back, sir.
Welcome.
Well, good evening, Mr. Mayor, honorable members of the council. Well, first of all, I have to say, it's an extraordinary pleasure to be back here in Roswell, my second home. I was chatting with some of the members of the council earlier, and I was reminded of a discussion a friend of mine had with me last summer at Oshkosh. It's always better to be seen than viewed. And I couldn't agree more. I apologize for my voice. In early January, I had some neurological brain surgery. They removed a golf ball tumor from my brain. And the good news is it's completely removed. The bad news is I am left with a few neurological challenges, one of which have been balance. But that physical accommodation and rehab has worked better than my speech. But I decided that being here with you to talk about the races was more important than my ego. And so you get me as I am, and I hope you can understand me. We have very exciting news, some of which you've already seen, so I apologize. It will be somewhat duplicative, but the races are on for September 16th to 20th. We have worked extensively with both the sport and the unlimited classes. We have signed agreements with both of them that they will be back, in part because with the Hollyfields continued support from the Brown Brothers Ranch, they have given us the right, working closely with Bobby and the Hollyfields, to put a new emergency runway on their land. It will be 5,000 feet long, 60 feet wide, and 500-foot overruns at both ends. It was a compromise. The Unlimited would like 6,000 feet. The Hollyfields, I was pleased to say, would be willing to go to 500. We propose overruns at both ends and suggest that they try not to land on them. They're in favor. Everybody will be back, and on top of that, once that announcement came out, I think on March 25th, we've seen a significant uptick in activity, both on the chicken front and on the communications front. The second important feature is the U.S. Thunderbirds will be with us. We're delighted. I understand they were here in the 80s, so it's been a long time. but they are, as you all know, one of America's two leading premier military demonstration teams. And having them here, I believe, will substantially increase the participation from the drive side community, as far as hopefully Albuquerque and Lubbock and other directions, taking some of the pressure off our housing situation with the hotels. With the help of the city, we're continuing to make progress in expanding the RV facilities, providing power and water, which is one of the other ways. And with based on last year, before the unlimited's pulled out, I'm confident that almost all of the RV parks downtown will also be well occupied. So we're tremendously excited about all of this, and I can't thank the city and the state enough. We have some exciting military history coming. In addition to Thunderbirds, we've now been told by our military coordinator that we are likely to have a B-52 bomber present on the field. I can't tell you there's necessarily one of them that was based here in the SAC days, but it's of the same type. As you know, the B-52 bomber is older than a good number of the pilots, virtually all of the pilots that fly. They're 50 plus years old at this point. They've gone through 7 different reconfigurations, and as you've seen in Epic Fury, they have continued to play a role today. We're working with this commemorative Air Force to bring back 50 B-29, and if I can raise enough money, I hope to bring a B-17. And in the process, we would have each of the most significant leading bomber aircraft in one place at one time for all the people to get a chance to see, tour, and experience. So that excites us a great deal. Ticketing has been opened first for the people who have booked tickets in the past, and early response has been very positive on, I have to check my date, April 23rd, ticketing will open to the public. So we're looking forward to it. By the May meeting, I expect to be able to have some early findings on ticketing. So throughout all of this, we couldn't be more excited. We think we're in the best position for a phenomenal year this year. We're presenting to Secretary Lansing Adams tomorrow our complete marketing plan, and indeed we'll be working closely with a number of people here. And as you know, New Mexico Troop and the city of Roswell appear in all of our advertising as 2 of our significant sponsors. We deeply appreciate it. So with all our excitement about what we have going, I'd like to share a couple of slides with each of you. And so if I could have, this is our poster for this year, and we have given center stage to the Thunderbirds, and we have representation of all 7 classes on this poster. And so I won't, I've been asked not to distribute it because the poster is not final, it's in draft, but I think that this will be very much the poster that we have going forward for the year, and we're really, really excited about it. The second thing is, with the support that we received in the prior year, although we could not, because of some discussions with the FAA, we could not build the permanent grandstand. Last year we utilized a temporary one, but now, under Bobby and Mike Matthews' guidance and everybody, the grandstands are under construction. If I get the next 2 slides, this gives you an idea. There'll be permanent grandstand, 9,500 people, completely ADA compliant. As you see that ramp going up, these are way better from that point of view than what we had available in Roswell because it's been built to modern standards. In the middle, they're not there yet, but there will be our timing booth and our media booth for all of the TV activity that we have. But I believe the completion date is late April, early May.
Possibly the third week of April.
Possibly the third week in April. The other improvements that are being made to the facility are eliminating some of the soil and managing some of the drainage water. There's no doubt that in my next life, I like to joke I want to come back as a weather forecaster because it's the only job that I know where you'll be wrong more than half the time to keep your job. So, as you saw last year, we were unfortunately blessed with an enormous predicted rainstorm on Saturday, which ended up causing all kinds of challenges. But the good news was, there's nothing like a great rain to show you where all your drainage challenges are. And we learned that in great order. And as a result, working with the city engineers and body and all of the others, we're working on mitigating that. So we're very excited. I'll close with one little bit of fact. Last year we had 14 chalets. 2 of those are donated back to the state of New Mexico and 1 to the city, and we'll do the same this year. So of the 14, and 1 was Roswell. So we had 11 other chalets. We are now looking at a list that is perhaps 19 chalets, including those couple. So we're expanding to the south of the runway, to the grandstands. We think we can fit all of it in, but Bobby and the airport people are going to give me a detailed tour of some of the work in progress soon. And if all that works out, and if it doesn't work out that way, we'll add chalets to the north end. So I conclude by saying, number one, thank you all. Your dedication and continued support helps make this possible. We're looking at as many as 75,000 attendees next year. We have challenges, you know all about them, we're working to overcome them, but the reality is we'll make certain that nobody in West Texas or Texas in general, all the way to Arizona and throughout New Mexico, does not know that Roswell, New Mexico is the true home for the National Championship Air Racing. Now and forever, as long as we're here to make that happen. So thank you very much. I'll be delighted to take any questions, and I appreciate being able to be here today.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Pleasure to have you. Any questions of Councilor Cannon?
So Fred, thank you for everything that you've done with this and everything. You know, your poster, I can't imagine how it would look any better than to have you and the mayor and your Corvettes coming off that screen. And maybe this year and for the next few years, we can have you guys do a Corvette race out there. And I think you could raise some money doing that. But I think that would be an awesome event with our 2 Corvettes that both you and the mayor both own. That would be pretty spectacular, I think.
When I picked mine up at December, the mayor was good enough to bring his down. And I wasn't here very long, but actually it wasn't December, it was back in February, right? And well, in any event, the reality is we took him on the highway, did a spin up the relief road and down through the center of town. And I talked to Tony today, and I said, you know, didn't work out last year to have the one on runway scheduling and other issues. And I said, this year, I think the mayor and I might be able to do something. Well, the problem with people that are closer to all the problems than I am some days, he said, well, you know, I'm not sure under our insurance policy that we would allow you and the mayor to race each other down the runway. You might have to get professional drivers. And I said, well, do me a favor, look into that for me. But that would be great. But I love the poster. I love what it represents, and I can't be happier to see it. Any other questions?
We do have room for a sponsor, prime sponsor right there.
We do, and
You know,
we're still looking for one. So, thank you. Take good
Thank
care.
you.
Appreciate being
Thanks,
here.
Fred.
thank you, Mr. Stallings, thank you very much. Next we have, Mr. Bud Kunkel, please, for airport advisory updates. Chief.
It's sure good to have Fred back. And Fred, you did just fine speaking. So thank you. Good evening, Mayor Jennings and Roswell City Councilors. The AAC had our April meeting this past Tuesday on April the 7th. We had most of our Air Center employees in attendance, including Omar Gonzalez, the Deputy Airport Director. He presented most of the information for the meeting from the staff, and thanks to everyone who attended the meeting in person and several who attended online. Our agenda was fairly typical in length, with 21 items to be addressed. The ADB lighting and electrical vault project continues. As you'll remember, design and construction of the new electrical vault project are funded under separate federal grants. Design is now complete and the vault project has been put out for bid. The RAC is currently waiting issuance of the federal grant to begin construction. Lochner Engineering has met with the FAA and has submitted documents needed to issue the federal grant. We're currently waiting on the FAA to issue the grant so that we can actually begin construction. As with all things federal government, we were told that that could be delayed due to the ongoing government shutdown. However, to our knowledge, the shutdown did not include the FAA. So it doesn't appear that that's a very valid concern by the FAA. Hopefully, the new electrical vault project can proceed to replace the two older vaults which currently control all airport runway lighting. The lighting portion of the project for updating, installing, and replacing the original lighting and wiring continues 2 weeks out of each month. The BLM Taxiway Lima project is about 65% complete. The contractor resumed work on the project on March the 30th after reinstallation of electrical conduit under the taxiway. Concrete pouring and asphalt paving, along with the required upgrades associated with change order 3, are in progress. Construction is expected to reach substantial completion by the end of this month. Taxiway Charlie rehabilitation had a pre-construction meeting on April the 1st. The contractor is expected to begin construction, including milling the surface. Repaving the asphalt is expected to begin soon after, with completion possibly later this month. The completion of the restroom rehabilitation in the terminal is moving forward. They were to be completed by the end of March, but due to the uneven concrete floor issues on the east restrooms, that will be delayed until the end of April. Punch list items on the west restrooms are being completed and fixtures are being installed currently on the east restrooms this week. The terminal emergency generator project now has plans and generator specifications are complete. The engineering firm of Moles and Corbin is waiting on the city for the method of procurement. Complete bid documents are executed will be executed within 2 weeks once the procurement method has been resolved. The Southeast Air Center Waterline project continues to move forward. The sewer line portion of the project is still on a partial hold, with the electrical service portion of the project now scheduled to be completed by June the 26th. The Air Museum Taxiway and Gate project is currently being coordinated with Moles and Corbin and the city engineer. The design of this project is expected to be complete by the end of April. This project will provide access from the Air Center to the proposed Air Museum site south of Wyo Road at the southeast corner of the Air Center. This has been a brief summary of the main projects currently ongoing at the Air Center. Some of the other projects have previously been addressed by Omar Gonzalez. And just as a short history, Air Center activities on an ongoing basis have been presented to the City Council over the past 4 years. I want to note that this information was not previously presented as I have done for the past 4 years. During the 2.5 years that I was a member of the AAC under the previous administration, this type of report was never presented. So I appreciate Mayor Jennings and the council allowing me to present this info on a monthly basis. At a minimum, this has provided the council with current, ongoing project information at the Air Center, and it has also kept the council informed about the numerous actions taken by the AAC that have hopefully benefited the local taxpayer. I've personally appreciated the opportunity to serve as a volunteer in this capacity as the AAC chair. I've learned a lot about our Air Center over the last several years. I'm also convinced that the AAC serves a valuable purpose to the Air Center and city government. Allowing the AAC to investigate various aspects of the operations and activities at the Air Center has benefited the taxpayer and allowed our Air Center to continue to improve many aspects of its operations. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to assist our community at our Air Center. This concludes my presentation, and I stand for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Conklin. Thank you very much for your long-time service on the Airport Advisory Commission. You certainly brought a lot of worthy items to us, and you certainly have kept us abreast. Thank you very much for your service. Are there any questions from members of the council? Councilman Hildebrand.
I just want to reiterate what the mayor said. I really appreciate, Mr. Kunkel, what you've done over the last 8 years. I assume it's been
6.5.
6.5 years that you've done out there, that you've been very informative to this council. I know you've spent a tremendous amount of your time and devotion, and it's people like you that live in this community that make it a better community. Thank you for your service to the city.
It's a team effort.
Thank you. Any further? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kunkel, appreciate it. Next, we have out-of-state travel is on page 288. It's only informational. Do we have any of the out-of-state travel on page 288? Any questions? Okay, James McCormick Washington DC to get an award for
Special project and stuff.
special project.
I just did travel too.
Yeah, it's on page 288, okay. No, we have McCormick out of state. For out-of-state attachments are here, we have out-of-state travel for water, wastewater, Andrew Valley. Okay. There is for out-of-state travel for wastewater, Andrew Valdez went for excellence in innovative financing. We received an award there in DC, and James McCormick went to Washington DC, traveled to attend the 2026 CIFA Water Infrastructure Summit, and to receive the 2000 PISCES Award for the City of Roswell Emergency Sewer Project completion for 2024. And then we had the Roswell Police Department. Is the chief here? Did you want to go through this, or?
He's outside.
He's outside, okay. Miguel Barritos and Matthew Shepard, they're detectives. They're going to a training program for National Missing and Unidentified Persons Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. Is to provide updated training on the best practices and technologies. And Tom Jen and Francisco Santiano and there's a large number of people. The SWAT team is receiving training at a SWAT conference in Round Rock, Texas this week for the police department. And Officer Stephen Willis will receive travel reimbursement request to Round Rock, Texas. That's for that. So that's all the Round Rock officers. And Bobby Thompson, our airport director, has out-of-state airport travel going to Dallas. We're important for Paul V. Hill to discuss updates to the airport certification manual. And Carolyn Brooks is going out of state travel for our museum to Austin, Texas. It's attendance for mandatory workshop for federal compliance with the National American Graves Protection and Registration Act for the Museum of Native American Collection. So everybody's pretty busy. And it's really good to see our Miss Brooks going. You know, our museum is accredited nationally, and we need to make sure that we maintain that accreditation. So I'm real happy that she's going there to maintain that accreditation while we're going through our flood problems. Any other comments, questions from members? Okay. Okay, thank you. Seeing none, okay. We will move on to public participation in items. We have two people signed up to talk. We have Sarah MacArthur from 609 Mimosa Drive in Roswell about data centers. Sarah? Oh, okay, Sarah, you got your time here.
I got a lot of time? Hi, Mayor.
Well,
hi, councilors.
3 minutes or something, but that's all right. Go ahead.
Great.
Do your best. What you can.
Good evening, councilors, and thank you for your time. I want to raise an issue that most residents in Roswell and Chaves County are not aware of because nobody's told them. Across our county and through our state and district economic development offices, there are efforts underway to pursue industrial revenue bonds for large-scale industrial projects, including hyperscale AI data centers. These discussions are happening before the public has been informed and before our community has had any meaningful opportunity to understand the impacts. This is not unique to us. Across the country, communities are fighting to protect their water, their electrical grids, their air quality, and their property values from massive, resource-intensive facilities that are still largely unregulated. Many cities and counties have learned the hard way that once these projects are approved, the long-term costs fall on local residents, not on the corporations who built them. Roswell and Chaves County do not have limitless resources. We do not have limitless water. We do not have unlimited electrical capacity, and we do not have the luxury of absorbing rate increases, infrastructure strain, or quality of life losses so that outside companies can benefit from tax-advantaged financing. The public is not being informed of these efforts, and that's not really acceptable. Transparency is not optional, it's the foundation of public trust. If industrial developers want to come here, to Roswell or to the county, they must demonstrate that they will not raise our utility rates, they will not consume water we cannot replace, they will not degrade our quality of life, and they will not undermine our property values. They must show that they can operate without shifting costs onto the people who already live here. Until this happens, the answer is no. We do not want hyperscale AI data centers in an already fragile geographic area, not without full transparency, full public participation, and full protection of our community's resources and our property values, to say nothing of our quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, Ms. McCarthy? Councilor Lady Arnold?
Just one quick question. I am familiar with them coming, but do you have any feedback on what is the benefit of them coming? Is there any community benefit from them being here other than?
You know, there are people that say that there is a tax benefit, but there's really not. Because, you know, fire and roads and emergency vehicles, those come out of the county budget. Those come out from taxes. They're not paying those unless we get ahead of the game and we do it the way they do it in Europe, where we demand that these companies that are billionaire companies, and I don't know if you know how big billionaire is, right? But these people that come here that want to use our resources, I'm not against ever having somebody come here and do that, but put up sound barriers so you don't ruin the quality of life, and tell us how much water you think you're going to use, because if you take that water, then the agricultural sections and all the other places, they don't get the water. So I'm hard pressed, and I've read more than 40 articles on AI data centers. I am hard pressed to see what a very fragile area like ours is, why we're on the radar. Other than they get a tax incentive, and that should be a no-go. That should never happen. You want to come here, then you give us tax money for our schools, for our systems, because the jobs aren't there, because once it's built, that's it. So I am hard pressed, but I will do more research if you have more questions, and I will do more reading and learn about this. But I'm very worried. Do you have a question, Councilor Pesa?
Well, I'd like to look at the mayor.
Oh, sorry.
Councilor Arnold, are you?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Orpresa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Are we talking about that issue coming before this council, or perhaps in the future council?
I am fully okay, so it's not here in this council yet, but there are things happening in our county, and you guys need to know about it. And I've done some IPRAs, and I see that there's things happening. There's emails going back and forth between companies and newly formatted companies, and you know, through our economic regional area and from our state, and they're having discussions. And I do know that there's a pipeline company that's expanding their infrastructure. I mean, these things don't happen without somebody already knowing that something is happening. And so if you guys don't know that, I'm happy to provide that information to you in a form of a written pamphlet. But we need to be aware, and we need to get on the other side of it, so that we're not one of those communities that's like, wow, that was really bad, look at how we are now. I just curiously, if you know, Memphis, Tennessee, couldn't produce enough stuff for Elon Musk's big data center, and we're talking 13 square miles. That's what the people that want to come here right now have planned for us, a 4 gigawatt kind of system. And 4 gigawatts, if it was just an energy company, would actually give enough energy to 4 million homes, which we don't even have 4 million homes in New Mexico. Just saying. So I think it's important to take advantage of them as opposed to being the ones taken advantage of. And that means we have to update our laws. We have to get behind, and we have to start from a local point of view and bring it all the way up to the state and say, we are not going to take this without getting the benefit of it. I mean, I don't want to take all your time, but thank you for your questions.
The reason that I'm asking the question is because I think it's very important that the public understand who to contact, the decision makers.
Right now, I think it'd be the county and the people there, and like every county across the United States, that there are 4,000 AI data centers, and every county commission has been caught unawares. But I think our commissioners are starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. This is not right. It's not necessarily a good thing for our county. Because, you know, if they take all the water, what are we left with, right? And so I think our county people and our county commissioners are the ones that are being approached about all that. And I think, I don't sleep well at night, so, I mean, to me, it's not a good thing. But,
Thank you.
okay, thanks.
Any further comments?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. MacArthur. I know we do on our, taking all our water, we are an adjudicated basin, and I believe it's all been adjudicated.
Yes, sir.
So whatever water they get, they're gonna have to buy from a willing seller. And whatever, and I don't know how much they use, it takes a lot of stuff to cool and make electricity generally. It takes quite a bit of water to cool it. And I assume probably for data centers it takes quite a bit, but we don't have any areas probably that large inside the city limits where we would be affecting much, so this is mostly gonna be probably to the county. And, but it certainly is, we should be aware of how much water it uses and everything else, just like we should for any other facility that comes in here about where we are. So, thank you very much, Ms. MacArthur, for bringing that item to us.
You're welcome.
And next we have, the last one on our agenda is Daniel Rubio from 6027 Old Clovis Highway. Mr. Rubio?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, councilpersons. Thank you for having me. I hope I won't be that long. I just want to introduce myself, and my name is Daniel Rubio. I'm 56 years old. I'm a lifelong resident of Roswell, New Mexico, proud lifelong resident of Roswell, New Mexico. Let me rephrase that, from the south side of Roswell, New Mexico. I grew up a few blocks away from here, you know, and why I say that is where I grew up, we were poor. But the one thing that we did have, we had a work ethic, we had our integrity, we were honest, we were respectful, and what we held most highest was our character. And to this day, we still hold that. I have 3 kids. I'm proud to say all my kids graduated from Roswell High. Now they're in the professional world and they're all doing great, thanks to God. I mean, they're doing awesome. I'm truly blessed. I have 3 grandkids who recently graduated from Roswell High. Next month, I'm gonna have a granddaughter that graduates from college. She's getting a degree in business. Next month, I'm having a grandson that he's gonna get a degree in teaching and he wants to work for the Roswell Independent School District. I've never been in trouble. I don't even know what inside of a police car looks like, jail, anything. I couldn't even remember the last time I got a traffic ticket. And you guys are all probably wondering why I'm going in so in depth on explaining myself. And the reason I am going is I want you guys to know that my roots and my family's roots run deep in this community. And the reason I went so in depth to explain who I am, I'm standing here before you because I will not be attacked by any city official ever again. Ever again. And the reason I say that, you're not gonna attack my character, my character, my integrity, my honesty, and the last thing you're ever gonna do is slander my name. I don't deserve that, nor does my wife, nor, that does not, and you're probably all thinking, how did we get here? And I'll do a brief synopsis. My wife and I like to golf. We're always at Spring River. We work in merchant services. We're at Spring River one day, and we overheard the folks there talking about, oh, we need a tractor, and we need this, and we need that. I really wasn't paying attention, my wife was. She goes, why can't we help the city? What we do, why can't we help the city? Why can't we see what their fees are being paid and how we can save them money? And I was like, great question. So we finished our round, we went to the city. Long story short, we got with the city and did a proposal, and that's where it ended. We were blown away with the amount of money that we could save the city of Roswell, which equated to $4.5 million over 3 years. That's $126,000 a month. So what did we do? We said, hey, let's help our neighbors. Let's go to Artesia. See if they're on this getting pretty much on the bad plan that the city of Roswell on. Guess what? They were worse. So when we went there, we've been working with them for 6 months now. Same amount of time that we've been working with the city of Roswell. Differences.
Your 3 minutes are up.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Councilman Carl. That being said, we've been working with them. Everything's been great. I get a call out of the blue yesterday, as a matter of fact. And it was a person from the city of Artesia, one of their finance managers. And I'm here to tell you, he was almost in tears. He goes, I don't know what happened. He goes, I don't know where we went wrong. And then he went on to tell me that either a person from there called a person here, or vice versa, and that person said, do not, under any circumstances, go with these folks. Do not do business with Daniel, do not do business with his wife, and definitely do not do business with their company. Again, we've never heard back. I have countless emails, texts for the city of Roswell. Why? One, that's my business, but two, I'm a part of this community. When I know that we're losing $4,000 a day, and I come to these meetings and I hear, oh, I need money for this and I need money for that, or I look in the newspaper and the zoo needs money. And we're gonna raise the water. And I know for a fact there's literally a virtual bag of $176,000 sitting out in front of the city hall, and nobody will return my call. Nobody has the decency, the respect, the integrity to at least give me a call and say, hey, you know what? We're gonna put it out to bid. You guys didn't win, we found a better deal. Okay, fine. But not even that. These are questions that you might want to ask. Being, everybody's here, elected official. Maybe that's something that you might want to ask. Maybe you want to ask, what else is on that desk that's just sitting there? Because that was $4,000 a day, and that was 4 months ago. $126,000 times 4 is simple math. That's $500,000 that the city lost, and us as taxpayers had to pay. I didn't want the key to the city. I didn't even want a thank you. But the one thing I didn't definitely want is my name ran through the mud. And that is not acceptable to me. That is not acceptable at all. I quote you what one of the officials in Artesia told me yesterday. It was almost unbelievable the horrible things that were being said about you, my wife, and your company from the city of Roswell. That being said, what I want an investigation. I want an investigation of why that money sat on that desk. I want an investigation of why nobody called us. The last time we were in a finance meeting, Tony said, I'm renegotiating with the current provider. The current provider who has fleeced the city of Roswell over millions for the last 10, 15 years? You're really renegotiating with them? And it's taken 4 months? It's taken us as citizens, costing us $500,000 so you can renegotiate? What, I mean, come on. If somebody was stealing out of your house, are you gonna renegotiate and say, okay, you can't steal my TV, but I'll allow you to steal some forks and a toaster? No, a thief's a thief. Like, I really want some answers, and what I do want, this is what I want. I want whatever city official that Artesia talked to and ran my name and my wife's name through the mud, I want them fired immediately. And another thing that I want, you have time to run my name through the mud. You have time to, another thing that they were told, don't do this with them, use these people. Call this person. You don't have time or the common decency or decorum to even call me, but you can go to our neighbor city and say, don't do business with that Roswellite, but use these people.
Mr. Rubio, you've said a lot of things about a lot of people, and there's no names or specifics or anything with it. If you have something, you'd be glad, you can come to me, and I'll be glad to look at it and see what we can find out. But there's no way that, I don't know if you've talked to any of the counselors, anybody else? So,
I have.
Okay, but
I have, and it's you know, it wasn't, I didn't know where to go. I mean, I thought I was dealing with the direct person, but obviously I wasn't.
Well, I just tell you that I don't think anybody in this council would do anything like that, and I believe our staff is good. I have a great deal of confidence in Tony, and you know, well, I'll be glad to look at it with you and see whatever's out there and see what you're.
Well, we have again, this happened yesterday, and I find it ironic that when I was called yesterday from the city of Artesia, I said, well, when did this happen? They said Friday, and I started laughing. They said, why Friday? Why are you laughing? And I said, it's so funny because I was just looking at Facebook, and on Friday, the city dump could not take any people over there because their credit card machine was down. I was like, so we can't even facilitate our own citizens, but we have time to run me through the mud.
Well, okay. Well, I think you made your point, sir, and we'll be glad to sit down and work with you. This is not the time and the place to do it, but we'll be glad to sit down and work with you about it. And I don't have any problems with it. Councilman Marujo?
Mr. Rubio, can you provide the information where we're losing money, and, because we don't like losing money, period. I mean, if you could show us.
I have it here and it's date stamped, and I made a copy for everyone.
And here's another thing, I mean, all of us we don't like losing money. We know the city's losing money, and we don't want to lose money. We could save money somehow. I don't know.
We'll all look at it.
It's the virtue services. Virtue services, they're good for us.
So if you'll provide that to the clerk, she'll get it to us, and we'll have that for each one. Councilor Lady Arnold, if Councilor Marujo, you're through.
Yes, I am.
Councilor Lady Arnold?
Thank you, Mr. Rubio.
Thank you. Any other?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
so thank you for coming out tonight, but, and it was all very impactful except for, it was kind of like not understanding part of the puzzle. I'm sorry, what is it you do?
What we do is merchant services, so we help businesses lower their fees. I'm sure you've seen every business in town, whether it be a restaurant, an auto shop. If anybody runs a credit card in their business, the fees now are astronomical. So the way to save that is they'll be able to, some merchants can pass the fee on to the customer, whether it be 3%, 3.5%, 3.9%. So that's how you get your savings.
Okay, no, I was just trying to gain some relativity.
Yeah.
Because the story, I appreciated everything you brought in, but the bigger context is kind of letting me understand what you do and how that came to the story. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I just we'd like to sit down and work with you. You might I've got your numbers, but I have to parking furnish everybody.
I have one last thing. Why wasn't it put out to bid?
What put out to bid?
This, why wasn't it put out to bid? I mean, the city was quick to say, tell a citizen, no, we're not going with you, and don't anybody else go with you. Why wouldn't it, at that type of dollar amount, why wouldn't it put out to bid? Why wouldn't it? And you know what, I'd have been perfectly fine. You put it out to 3 companies and two other companies beat our bid? Okay, that's fair. I guess why I'm so upset is 1, we've been treated so unfair, it's unreal. And 2, I didn't deserve to get my wife's name dragged through the mud. And this is I mean, you might not hear from me again, but you'll definitely hear from us.
Well, that's fine. I have no idea about who said what to who, sir, and I'm sorry, you've got to get us the name of the guy in our T's who told you that, and we'll look and see, look and see anyway. But this is not the place that's gonna happen tonight.
No.
So, I mean, that's all I'm telling you. We'll sit down and we'll figure it out and we'll look at it and work with you. We have looked at a lot of the issues that are out there about water bills, about whether or not people pay with a credit card, how much money we lose or gain or whatever. I mean, we've looked at all that, and some of that was supposed to have gotten fixed and it didn't, but we're working, we will work forward with that, and
that is exactly, that, what you're seeing right there entails all of that. It covers all of it. All utilities, all bids.
Okay, I'm sorry. Ms. Moore, did you have?
I guess being from the south side, I want to apologize for the name and fame if that's what happened and the way it happened. That is never okay. We're all about being professionals. I hate that happened to you. And you heard that the mayor asked for you to come directly to him and we can figure out where to go from there. I'm not sure what the bid you're talking about. You spoke with Ms. Tony about it?
That's the only person I've ever talked to.
Was to Tony. Okay. See, then most of us aren't aware of those things. So I think once you go to the mayor, you probably know where to go to from next. But it's never okay to defame no one's character for whatever the reason may be. And we know we have to be careful as professionals that when you you never know who you're talking to, so you have to be careful, because it may be your cousin you're talking to, when you're talking about each other. So we just need to be careful with that and let us be more professionals as elected officials, for sure. I don't know if it was an elected official or if it was staff, but it doesn't matter. It's not okay. And I apologize that happened to you, Mr. Rubio, to you and your beautiful wife over there. But the next thing you need to do is set an appointment to meet with the mayor and the city manager and get it done, see what your questions are. This is not a place for such a long endeavor, conversation, and nothing can be had or voted or said on it tonight. But we thank you for bringing your concerns to us, because that's what we're here for. And I think you're actually on our board, actually. So, thank you for your concerns, and just make an appointment and meet with the mayor and the city manager, and you can go from there. We can see how your concerns can be addressed. Now, we can't say you can't tell us who we can fire and stuff. You can't, I know how you feel. You may feel that way, but you don't have the power to say, just say we need to fire so-and-so and so-and-so. I don't even know if I got that power, but anyway, we appreciate your concern and your candor, and it will be addressed, and we thank you. I think your 3 minutes, you got way over your 3 minutes, and so, but we wanted to hear, we just want you to understand, we wanted you to hear what you had to say, so we got your information, call the mayor, make an appointment with him and the city manager, and then we'll all know how that comes about and what to do next for you, okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mrs. Moore, for your time. Appreciate it.
Johnson.
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, I apologize that nobody ever got back with you. I mean, we should always I don't care if we don't have the right answers, or if we don't know them, or if we don't have a clue, we still have to answer everybody. Every time our phone rings at City Hall, we have to answer it. And I apologize, but we'll get better at that. We have to answer our phone calls, we have to return them. Even if we don't have the right answers for you, we still have to communicate. We do work for you still. Please don't And I apologize, I really.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, I sure do appreciate it, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay. Okay, any other public participation quickly? Any other person care? Going once, twice? Okay, thank you very much. Next, we have item 34, ordinance number 26-04, authorized to advertise for public hearing on ordinance number 26-04, an ordinance amending the purchasing, City of Roswell's purchasing procedures on page 296. So.
Good afternoon or good evening, Mayor and City Council members. This is ordinance 2604. Before you today is our two separate potential amendments to the city's proposed amendments to the city's procurement procedures.
Can't hardly hear
It is.
Tomorrow, is tomorrow there? You can't be talking to them during lunch today.
What time is it there, Josh?
2?
It's about 10 in the morning.
And it is Friday.
You want to take it?
Okay.
Can we let the city manager?
Yes.
This, I don't know if anybody needs to speak on this because I believe that councilors wanted to put a motion on the table, so. So.
What was his motion? Because I didn't understand his motion when that was made.
No. So during if you wanted to send it back to committee, that would be your motion now.
That would be the motion on the table.
Yeah, he didn't, nothing was made to the agenda, no change was made to this portion of the agenda.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Hildebrand.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we put this back to the Finance Committee for further advancement.
No, I'm sorry, I thought we had to have some discussion. Why would we put it back?
Well, number one, this says that we're going to advertise for a public hearing. That's not the true statement. The statement is we should be having a public hearing because we voted last time to have a public hearing.
So you're wanting to put it back because of the verbiage on the current agenda?
Yep.
So we have a motion to refer this to Finance Committee. Is it, by Councilor Hildebrand, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. We have a motion moved to Finance by Councilman Hildebrand. And a second by Council Lady Moore. Okay, now we're on discussion. Any discussion on referring that bill?
Yes.
Council Lady Arnold.
Because I'm a little bit thrown here, so I don't understand why we move it back to legal committee when you have a grammatical error and it's already made it this far. Re-advertised, so you're wanting to take it back to legal to correct words? Finance.
To
I'm
finance.
sorry, so how is finance gonna correct the verbiage? What is that, how is that even correlated?
Councilman
I mean, I
Hildebrand.
can see postponing it to correct it and then put it out there, but I'm not sure where the error is for that, on that ground.
Well, the error,
Councilman Hildebrand.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. The error was that the city internal auditor is working on some processes and procedures to update this, and they're not complete yet. And at the request of city manager to move this back, when we talked about this at the legal committee, or finance, one committee we talked at, to send this back till this wording is corrected, or till it gets, the process for the internal city auditor is writing to help identify these purchase requirements.
Can you please update me on that? Because I think there's a bunch of council members who haven't been included on some information.
So, Mr. Mayor, if I may. Yeah, so the audit committee met last week. It was discussed what to do. As far as management goes, probably because Josh wasn't there before, I gave a number of options, one of which is to table, one of which is to send back to committee, if people didn't want to hear this because they're not policies and procedures. So, as far as the aspect of what you want to think, I'll say, generally speaking, I am in support of the ordinance as written. However, if counselors don't want to deal with it yet without policies or procedures in place that are not necessarily tied to it, that's the council's prerogative to send it back. So I'm just advising that, since Josh is a little hard to hear, advising procedurally, if you don't want to deal with this until the auditor has done things, sending it to committee makes sense. If you'd like to just vote for it now, you would vote to not send to committee.
Question from the council. I think Mr. Moore was first.
Councilman Moore, did you ask?
So this is the thing that we're talking about in legal where our internal auditor came and wanted to change some numbers and stuff. This is what we're talking about. So we're not just talking about that word is changed today, Ms. Arnold. We're talking about the actual wording of the ordinance itself, not just that one word, the advertise.
Right.
So that's not what we're talking about. That's what he just said, but that's not what the change is, that we want to, some of us had some concerns with the numbers, the 250,000 to 100,000, and those numbers that our internal auditor brought forth at a meeting. And so, that's not, I don't think that's what Councilor Hildebrand said, but I think that's kind of why I had some questions, is because we had not finalized what she wanted, that the numbers that she wanted to change. Remember, she wanted to change something from to 250,000 and all that, y'all. That's what we're talking, is that what we're talking about?
Mr. Mayor, Council,
Okay.
yes. So this ordinance is would be about codifying the contract amount I can enter into before, as the manager, without going for council approval. At the previous meeting, a number of councilors had spoken about how procurement side doesn't have established policies and procedures, which the auditor is presently working on. So those councilors at the last meeting wanted to defer this until those policies are in place. That didn't pass on a 6-5 vote to advertise today to hear what, to my knowledge, the auditor has not changed her proposal as to the wording of this ordinance, but she is concurrently working on policies and procedures.
And I think policies and procedures, if I'm understanding, are necessary. Everybody keeps saying we're going to follow this direction. So if we're going to have a policy of how we're going to handle it every time it happens, then I do think that we should let her finish those steps, so that every time we don't have to go through this every single time. We know the steps. When it comes to you next time, you know you do A, B, C. And so I'm kind of okay with waiving that, but I think, to my understanding, everybody voted not to waive.
No, so there hasn't been a vote. The motion on the table is to send it to legal, which is where the auditor would be presenting.
The motion is to go to finance.
To finance.
Sorry.
Finance.
Now, are you through, Ms. Moore?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, anyone who hadn't spoken the first time, before we go back, Councilor Represa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess I'm a bit confused as to why we are sending it back to finance rather than legal, because it seems to be like a legal issue.
I'm not making the motion, so I can't speak to it.
No, well, I'm just putting it out there that I don't understand whoever made the motion quite back to finance.
Mr. Hildebrand, you made the motion, but you...
I made the motion as it's placed back there. It's a monetary procedure process. And so, and you can take it out of finance and put it to legal if you want, but I made the motion to put it back into the finance committee.
Well, I think we do have to send it back, but I'm just kind of confused as to whether it needs to go back to finance or legal or both. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anyone else who would care to speak for the first time? Anyone else? Okay, Councilor Arnold for the second or third time.
Very fine, yeah, I'll keep going. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I think what I'm confused is in the last, because I'm very aware of what's happened. What I'm confused on is why the auditor reported to the audit committee when at the last meeting, the city council meeting, it passed for her to come back and just to go through public hearing. And I'm surprised she's not here. And I have a feeling the reason she's not here is because she advised 5 councilors of something when she was supposed to advise a full council from the last meeting. And so I think there was a decision by 5 councilors to actually postpone this in the proper policy and procedure. I get it, because I have the actual ordinance for the auditor right here. And actually we have done, that is the standard, but I don't think it was for her to report to the audit committee. I think it was for her to report to a full council. And so I'm real confused as to, I get postponing it, but there was a whole lot of information and tidbits in there that weren't conveyed to all of us when she presented to all of us. That's what I'm saying, is this looks, it looks squirrely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Cameron, Councilor Cameron.
So, Mr. Mayor and Councilor Arnold, it was 4 city councilors and the mayor that were in that meeting, so that we understand that we didn't have some type of quorum to make some type of decision. It was a suggestion, and I personally, I feel like we should move forward with the recommendation from our internal auditor. But that's up to all of the city councilors to make that decision on whether we move forward or wait for her, because she had some really good explanations in that meeting on why we should move forward. But she wanted to be able to give it more substance for everybody to understand why she was recommending that. So I'm not opposed to voting on this tonight.
That's what I'm saying, she should have been saying that to all of us.
Excuse me, ma'am. We had an audit committee, did not have a majority of councilors on it, and that's who she made these suggestions to, was to that, it was an audit committee that we had doing it. And now, that's where she made these suggestions, and that's ended up where we are, I guess, today. And I don't think anybody, I don't know, I'm not a counselor, I don't think anybody went through here and said to run this back. I don't know if they did or not. That's something that you all would know, I wouldn't. I do think that where we are right now, I have significant questions in my mind that I feel that our city manager should be, is gonna have to be given a great deal of leeway in what we contract for and how we contract it on. Putting things together as we go through this flood disaster that we're going through on moving things to get it together. I wish she was here as well, but she's not. But I do think that the city manager is going to have some leeway to work this whole thing out. That's why I voted the way I did in the last meeting. And on procurement, I think we have to have something there. So now, is there anyone that cares to speak first or second time first time that hadn't spoken? Anybody care to speak again? Councilor Corn.
I haven't spoken yet. So, Mr. Mayor, I hear what you're saying. We've got lots of things we need to get started with. If Congress ever decides to fund FEMA, we have TSA and the Coast Guard and whoever else is in the relevant suit. That would be helpful. And we're behind on this flood, and it's not our fault. We're ready to go, they're not. And you can't buy a hamburger if you don't have the money in your pocket. And that's where we're at. We want to get started and get moving. This is can be a very complicated issue. There's other facts that I raised with the city manager this evening about the way we go about our process. We vote on, yeah, this is maybe a good idea, let's go out for RFP. And then 30 or 60 days later, we get the bids back and we decide which one we're gonna go with. And then somehow another 60 or so days, then we actually vote the money. There's more to this process than just giving him the signature authority for whatever amount of money. And I think there needs to be more discussion on this issue because there's a lot more other facts that you don't see immediately. How many times we talk about the library playground that they're building? How many different committees went through that and voted on it? We just broke ground on that project. It took a year. And we need to look at our whole process, not just this one little piece of it, and come to a conclusion. I don't care where it goes. I just, it needs some more discussion and it needs deeper thought, in my opinion. That's all I got to say about it.
Thank you. Any further comments? Seeing none, we have a motion on the floor by Councilor Hildebrand to send it to Finance, and a second was seconded by Councilor Moore. So I believe we're at that point in time, we're gonna we'll have the clerk call the roll on that motion. No, pardon?
Voice.
Just do a voice.
You want to do a voice vote? Okay. All those in favor? Well, it says we have to have a majority of 6 members, so. But, okay, voice vote. All those.
On the final, just for point of clarification, at least my understanding is that we were voting on the issue in chief, then we would need the numbers that you're talking about. But we're just talking about moving it back to a committee. So we're just moving it to a committee. That's what we're doing.
That's true, you're right. Okay, all those in favor, well, you want just a roll call, or you want just a straight voice vote to either side? All right, we have a voice vote. All those in favor of referring this bill to Finance, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All those opposed to send it? Okay, this bill has, I would rule it by voice vote, this bill has been sent back to Finance. Item number 34 will go back to the Finance Committee for its earliest meeting. Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have item 35. And this item 35 is to hold a public hearing and a vote on the transfer vote and change of locations of a dispenser license number DIS 000897 on the premises of the patio on premises consumption only with the patio service to Major Gallant LLC doing business at the Gala Event Center at number 3 Petro Drive in Roswell, New Mexico. Okay, so we have council. This is the new building overall, about kind of straight across the street from the Anderson Museum on Petro Drive, a little quarter circle drive that goes between College and Garden. Councilor, Mr. Eisenman.
Mr. Mayor, so this is a quasi-judicial hearing. So as with liquor licenses, you have to, in order to deny this, you have to make an affirmative determination that there is a public health, safety, or welfare issue with it. So again, if there's nothing on the record, then you can't make a negative inference. We do these once every couple of months. Probably getting used to them by now.
Is this one of those things, if we do nothing, it goes forward?
That's correct.
Thank you. Move forward.
Okay, so is there anyone who would care to speak against this or? None? Okay, so then we don't have to do anything.
He's gotta ask for a motion, doesn't he?
Is there anyone have a motion or?
Motion to approve.
Anybody have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I'd make a motion to be approved.
Council, motion to approve by Council Lady Albertson,
You don't need that.
Second, whatever you need.
and a second by Councilor Cavan.
You can do that.
Yes.
Move forward.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, and the record should reflect that Councilor Gass is on the phone for the last two votes.
Yes.
So with no dissenting votes, this is passed, is duly passed. Next we go to,
Yeah, we had more,
Huh? Who had a dissenting vote?
Motion.
Oh, I didn't hear it. With, by a vote of 9 in the affirmative and 1 in the negative. Who was 2? You did, Carlos? You voted yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I think, Councilor Arnold was not present for the vote.
I was not, I went to the bathroom.
TMI.
Okay, we have, by a vote of 8 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative, and 1 in the bathroom. This is duly passed. Okay, next we'll go to item 36, to approval for permanent change to the floor plan of the licensed premises for Walmart stores on East LP, doing business as Walmart Supercenter number 6011, located 4500 North Main. Councilman Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to adopt the, change to the floor plan for licensed premises for Walmart store on North Main.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Corn, second by Councilor Hildebrand. And is this just a change in the floor plan for their liquor sales?
That's correct.
Is that all this is? Anyone in favor, anyone care to speak out in favor of this or opposed to it?
Proceed.
Okay, so all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed, so by a vote of 10 in affirmative, none in the negative, this has been approved. Item 37, approval of a 5-year water rights lease agreement with Leprino Foods for 1,200 acre feet of city Roswell water rights, including the option for 1 5-year renewal term.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve agenda item 37, the approval of 5-year water rights lease agreement with Leprino Foods Company for 1,200 acre feet of city of Roswell water rights, including an option for 1 5-year renewal term.
Second.
We have Council Leader, second by Council Leader Arnold. Okay, is there any, Councilor?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. At the previous committee hearing, we discussed that the acre feet value of the water was sort of up in the air still. We've met with Leprino and we've agreed that neither of us know exactly what the value is still. And this is partly due to the nature of how water rates are highly proprietary when it comes to leases. We've agreed that for 1 year, this should be $50 an acre feet, and that we would revisit within the year to present you guys with the updated amount and then execute it a second time. Loprino's here, are you guys still dealing with that? Okay, they brought a whole team in case I tried to pull something. But Nikki, so if the council's amenable, if the motion could just be amended to, that the city will insert appropriate language, or sorry, the 58, pardon me, that the price will be $50 per acre foot of water, and that the city within a year will come to terms with Loprino on the rate for the next 9 years thereafter.
So move to the amendment.
And bring it back, we'll come back to council, or you just take
We
that?
can just execute it.
Second.
We'll let you know when we do that.
We have a motion by Councilor Cavanagh, second by Councilor Arnold. Is there any further discussion? I have some concerns, and for Loprino, when you all came and when the cheese plant came here, I mean, it was a really good deal. And for a long time, we had 53 to 55 dairies here. Today, we're down to about 5. And I think, you know, the dairies, I mean, you all really stabilized this area, and it was extremely beneficial to our community when we started with the cheese plants and all those dairies moved here from California. It really stabilized our agricultural community, and I just look around with no dairies left here. Maybe it's, I mean, you provide us a good job. I have one of the closest houses to your plant. I can look out there and see those green dots on those 24 or 27 shipping things. But I'm concerned that we don't have any dairies left. And I understand with dairies comes a lot of things, including the nitrates and everything from all the manure and everything else that comes with it. But I would hope that we could find some way to stabilize our dairy industry in this area. I mean, maybe I might be the only one that pretty much grew up in agriculture, but it's very beneficial for us to have strong dairies here. And I would hope that Mr. Hess in this deal, when we look about this, I hope we would look about ways, what we can do in pricing agreements or something, whether it's no one cares except what AMPI does. I don't know, but we have to have a very vibrant economy, and with the advent of your cheese plants and one feed mill, I mean, we had to buy, you know, the county had to buy a huge hook and ladder fire truck and put a barn to put it in and train people in it, just so we could not change the fire rating for all the citizens who are around you out in the county. And as a county fire chief, I can just tell you that that's very important. So I would hope that we would expand when we look at this, see what we can do to have a viable dairy crop in Chaves County, Chaves and Eddy County. It's very viable. And I'm glad you're here. I mean, you've got 670 employees here. I had a nephew that worked for you for a long time, and used to work a great deal with Mr. Bertram over at New Mexico State about getting employees here for Loprino. Mr. Mayteen, I know a lot. I'm glad you're here, and when sometimes you have a pop off, it doesn't smell real good. That's all right. I understand that. That's part of agriculture, and I'm just saying that it's. You know, please help us make a vibrant, strong agricultural community in our area. And I don't know how you do it. You all know more about pricing and how things go, but I would hope that you would help us do that. So that's all. And okay, so now we're on. We have is there any other comments? Seeing none, if the Clerk, will you call the roll?
This on the amendment?
This is on the, as amended at 50, as Mr.
We never voted on the amendment now. You can ask for unanimous consent if you want to.
Well, would you,
That's the motion that's placed on the floor is the amendment.
you want to change it?
He already did, he made a motion.
He made
Motion as amended and.
Mr. Gavin made a motion as amended.
And
Councilor had discussion. And Mrs. Arnold seconded, so I believe it has been amended, if that's the way, is that the way you have it, Madam Clerk? Okay, so I think we're okay.
We have not voted.
We haven't voted, okay.
We haven't voted on the amendment, now you can ask for unanimous consent if you want to, Mr. Mayor. But
Well, let's just do it real quick, and we'll just do it on the amendment, is that okay, Mr. Gavin?
Works for me, let's get it done.
Okay.
Semantics.
For amending the motion as was described by our city manager, Mr. Eintema, as about the $50 per acre foot. So we have a motion by Councilor Cavan, a second by Councilor Arnold, to adopt that amendment. Do you agree? Okay.
Yes.
Clerk, call the roll.
Councilor Madrigal?
Yes.
Just a voice.
Just a voice vote. Just a voice vote.
Aye.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, by a vote of 10 in the affirmative and none in the negative, it is duly passed, the amendment is duly passed. Now back on the bill.
As amended.
As amended. Councilor Cavan, will you make another motion? Just, would you, we're back on that, so would you, as amended?
Make a motion that the agenda item 37, approval of 5-year water rights lease agreement with Greenville for 1,200 acre feet as amended for city of Roswell water rights, including option for 5-year renewal term.
We have a motion by Councilor Cavan as amended with a 5-year, or with a $50 fee. And it's seconded by this time by Councilor Johnson. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Councilor Represa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, I read the email that was sent to us, and I don't know if this is appropriate to bring it up in public or not. A letter from, it sounded like lawyers.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor. Yeah, so Leprino has an IRB with the city, so whenever Leprino has any type of issue with a vendor that could possibly affect title, which it can because of how our IRBs are written, we get notified, but it's not actually an issue we need to address. It's a courtesy notice as the landowner that we have no obligation to reply to and in no way can hurt the city.
So the information that we received by email has no bearing on
Nothing.
whether they pay up or they don't?
Nope. Yeah, it's totally internal to Leprino.
Okay.
Yeah, again, we only get these notices. These notices happen every now and then for any group that has an internal revenue bond, because technically we own the underlying land as a result of the bond.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further discussions? Okay, you want to do another voice vote? All those in favor of a motion by Councilor Cavan, seconded by Councilor Johnson, to approve item 37 as amended, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? By a vote of 10 in the affirmative, none in the negative, item 37 is duly passed. Next we go to item 38. And this adoption of resolution number 26-21 approving the fiscal year 24 audit and corrective action plan. Councilor Gass, excuse me, he's gone. Tony, would you like?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. Agenda item number 38 is Resolution 2621, adoption of Resolution 2621, approving the FY24 audit and corrective action plan. The city has received authorization to release the FY24 audit. The state of New Mexico, under the New Mexico State Audit Rule, requires the final audit to be reported and presented to the governing body this evening. And I do have Chris here from Patilla Hill and Brown to go through his slideshow on this for you guys as well. This will need to be approved by the resolution, and this will have to be forwarded over to DFA for their records as well. I stand for any questions, and I have Chris here to present for you.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mayor and councilors. What I have here is just highlights from the exit conference that we had, which goes over required communication that we as auditors are to make to those that are charged with governance. So we'll get to the first slide. In New Mexico, every audit has to follow two different standards. So the top two boxes relate to regular auditing standards. The bottom two boxes relate to government auditing standards, or more commonly referred to as yellow book standards. Again, state audit rule requires that audits throughout our state follow both of these standards. The top standards, what we were hired to do is express an opinion on your financial statements. And as you can see on the right, what that means is we give what's called reasonable assurance. So the numbers in your audit report could have errors, but those errors are not going to be big enough to alter the opinion of the readers of the financial statements. And so with our opinion, we cannot look at every transaction. We do statistical samples, we look at internal controls, but we're definitely not looking at every transaction that runs through the city. So therefore, there could be, again, errors, but those errors are not going to be big enough to change the opinion of the readers of the financial statements. Under that top slide, when it comes to internal controls, technically all we have to test is one transaction from each significant cycle. So a significant cycle is like cash receipts, cash disbursements, payroll. So technically we only have to test one. State audit rule has us do a yellow book audit because they want us picking samples. So not only do they want us picking samples over those significant accounting cycles, but they also want us testing, there's about 20 state laws for the most part that they want us looking at. Compliance with procurement, travel and per diem. So again, it's expanded in our state. So when we do that yellow book audit, as you'll see on the bottom left, we're testing those internal controls, we're picking samples, but we're not picking samples big enough to give an opinion. All we do in that report is we're not giving an opinion, we're spelling out what we do above what auditing standards require, and then we have to communicate significant matters. Well, state audit rule changes that up a little bit. The threshold of significant items goes basically down to the ground level. Any exceptions that we know as we go through our audit process and we're picking our samples, we have to report as a finding in the state of New Mexico. So a little bit more stringent requirements in our state. So if we go to the next slide, what we issued was what we call an unmodified opinion. Exactly the type of report the city wants to receive. Our report states that your financial statements are fairly presented in accordance with the standards that we have to follow. If we go to the next slide, there's two other reports in the audit. That one on the left is that yellow book report. Again, there's no opinion. We're just spelling out what we do differently, and then we do have some findings that we'll talk about at the very end. The report on the right is that compliance audit. It's over your federal grant funds. So in 24, we had to, if you spent more than $750,000 of federal funds, we had to do a compliance over those federal funds. The federal government establishes how we pick grants, which grants to look at. We pick those grants, we go through and we test them, and we do give an opinion. And in this case, we have a clean opinion on the federal grant awards. So both opinions that we issued are unmodified. They're exactly what you want to receive as a city. If we go to the next slide, difficulties encountered performing the audit. We had some issues with a single audit, that federal grant. We first got a listing of the federal awards that had to be modified, and then we had a hard time getting out of the system what were the transactions that were comprising those totals and the grant awards expended. We had several meetings, we finally got that, we were able to get through it. Other than that, we really didn't have any issues, other than waiting on the special audit that was done, but everything else we were able to get through. If we go to the next slide, this one I think is important to the council because if we as auditors are having to make lots of adjustments, then you should be made aware of it. And the state of New Mexico requires that you adopt a budget on cash basis accounting. Well, cash basis accounting is not generally accepted accounting principles. So in essence, if we were to audit how you keep your books throughout the year, how you report to BFA, we couldn't give a clean opinion. So what has to happen is your staff has to give us adjustments to get us from that methodology to two different other methodologies in your financial statements. All the adjustment related to those types of adjustments. Then there was not a single adjustment on your budgetary basis. So what that tells the council is that the numbers that were being accumulated on the budgetary basis, we did not have a single adjustment. If we go to the next one, if we had disagreements with management, we'd have to let you know, and I'm happy to say that we didn't. If the next slide, if management went out and consulted with other auditors, we'd have to let you know. I call that opinion shopping. If they were trying to get a different opinion to conflict something we came up with, we'd have to notify you, and that did not happen. If we go to the next slide, is our findings. The first one, we had one transaction when we picked our cash disbursements where the PO was dated after the invoice, so it happened after the fact. The next one was controls surrounding payroll. The personnel files have a change of status forms. There were 13 of them that did not have the proper rate that was included in the pay. The documentation just was not being maintained, or we could not recalculate because there are sometimes blanket raises given by council. We could not come up with a rate on 13 of those. Travel, we had 2 out of 10 where it's a city policy that those reimbursements have to be done within 30 days. We had 2 instances where that did not happen within 30 days. The next one is there was, during our testing of disbursements, actually our testing of travel, there was one item that was incorrectly coded. It was an airline ticket that was charged to a fuel line item, so it just went to the wrong account line. The next one is the filing of tax returns. There was I believe it was a $1,300, or actually $1,200 penalty for late submission of IRS quarterly reports. There were a lot more in the prior year, so it was getting resolved, but there were some things that went into this fiscal year where we did have some penalties. And if we go to the next slide, I guess that's it. I'll stand for any questions, Mayor.
Anyone have any questions about our audit? We're doing better than we did before. In the last, from 8/17 to 22 or whatever it was, 23.
Those are included in the report, but it wasn't as a result of stuff we did. It was a result of that special audit. Yes, I believe that, just with the IRS issue, that I think that had happened a couple years before. Things like that are slowly getting dealt with and moving in the right direction.
Well, thank you for giving us that. It's pretty clean audit, not perfect to understand, but we're moving in the right direction. So to this council and the staff, thank you very much for getting us turned around and really getting our act together. Because when we started in this, when I started in this 5 years ago or whatever it was, we've come a long way on getting things cleaned up. Thank you. Thank you all very much, and the committee and the counselors, all of us together, working together. Thank you. Okay, any further comments, any questions? Okay, so, Counselor.
Yeah, I move that we adopt resolution 26-21 approving the fiscal year 24 audit and corrective action plan.
Second.
We have a motion by Counselor Hildebrand. And who seconded it?
Anybody.
Who have the
Newton Marujo.
Marujo or El Paso? Which one?
Marujo.
haven't said nothing on this.
One, okay, so why don't we thank you for finally doing something. Okay. On a motion by Councilman Hildebrand and second by Councilor Orpresa, clerk, well, all those in favor of approving the adoption of the resolution and approving fiscal year 24 audit and corrective action plan, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, by a vote of 10 affirmative, none in negative. I'm getting better at that voice voting thing.
You are.
Yeah, but look at this. Every time I have a check mark where it says a 6 roll call, has a check mark, then it has a line through it.
Mayor, move forward.
You know, I mean, it's really, I don't know what happened over here. Okay, but I'm just not gonna
Mr.
show
Mayor,
you
can I make a
some.
recommendation? You go to the clerk's office tomorrow morning and she'll give you instructions on how to.
Yes, ma'am. At direction of Councilman Hildebrand, you will be in the office in the morning at 8. There goes your vacation.
Right.
Donuts and toast.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we have, item 39, consider the approval of Mayor Jennings' recommendation for appointments to the flood task force as follows. And Councilor Corn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm asking for unanimous consent that we consider items 39, 40, 41, 42, and 43 in one motion.
Second.
No, I don't want a second. If you keep quiet, then I'll make my motion.
Okay.
Unanimous consent. Councilor Corn has asked unanimous consent that we do 39 through 41.
No, 43.
43. In one vote. Is there any objection to unanimous consent?
No. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
Well, okay.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve your recommended appointments for the Flood Task Force, Cemetery Board, Occupancy Tax Board, and the Planning and Zoning, and the Airport Advisory Commission.
Second.
Okay, Councilor Corn has asked unanimous consent and made a motion that we approve item 39 through 43. With one motion, and it was seconded by, who seconded? Councilor Moore?
Councilor Moore.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? By a vote of 10, affirming none, and items 39 through 43 are done. Next, we have councilor comments, information only. Any councilor want to make any information? Seeing none?
Councilor Corn.
Council Lady Alverson, thank you.
As many of you know, we're working on the Roswell 250, so we're working on events throughout the entire year to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States. So the next item that's coming up is Arbor Day. That's this Saturday from 9 to 11. You can go to the zoo and get your trees. We are working on a mural. We're going to have painting parties for people in the community to help paint the mural. It's an American flag with an eagle. Also, we have fire hydrants downtown. The fire department has created a map for us. Nancy Fleming, God bless her, from the Miniatures Museum, is taking charge of this project, and Allison's is donating the paint. So if you want to paint a fire hydrant, it's free. Just pick up a form from the Miniature Museum. I have some here tonight if you want some. For the Roswell 250, we are also still looking for sponsors, and we are creating an official publication. So if you want to buy an ad in the official publication, you can do that too. So if you want to follow us on Facebook, we're under Roswell 250. If you go to the city's website and do a search for Roswell 250, all the forms you need for the fire hydrant sponsoring, advertising, and anything are on the city's website. So.
Councilor Moore is looking for her hat.
Council Moore never emailed me back.
You want the camo or the white or this one?
But that's all I have for Roswell 250. So again, follow us on Facebook. You can sign up for email updates too. So we constantly let you know when we need volunteers and when events are coming up.
And next, we had Council Lady Arnold. Did you care to say something?
No, I'm sorry. I thought it was, I didn't realize it was information, not sermon, I had a sermon, so,
You're making a motion to adjourn?
God bless America.
So we have that now. Any further council, any comments? Okay, we'll go forward.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Councilor Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just got one question, I guess, Councilor Gass still on the phone. I noticed on this agenda that they had all of the 5-year plans on their agenda. Did they pass, and when are we gonna see them here at the city council, or what's the plan?
Well, you won't see him until he gets here.
Wait a minute. There were, on the consent agenda, there were a bunch of the 5-year plans. They're putting them all together, and they were presented to the finance committee, and I believed in the consent agenda, we approved a bunch of them today. But we are getting all the 5-year plans, and I think we have most of them. They've done a pretty good job. And any we're missing, we'll get to you that we haven't yet.
We'll have him as soon as he returns, we'll have him.
All right, I'm just staying on top of it, that's all.
Okay, for city manager's report, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr.
Pick it
Chairman.
up.
I will keep this brief. We have received a statement from United, we're doing a lot better than we started. The first months were pretty blue, or the first few weeks were blue, as you can imagine. In any case, we will be getting invoiced in the near future. The federal grant, that grant will be covering the entire loss, so it will be no cost to the city. Please look forward to an infrastructure. Mr. Mac Rogers is going to be putting together a master appropriation request so that we can get moving on anything that is about to be or has been obligated by FEMA. That'll be coming to you in the next 10 days or so. Similarly, at public safety, we have finalized the dispatch salary grade, so that will be presented at public safety next week. Internally, we've not been able to hire any inspectors for electrical and building. I've authorized internally to increase their compensation, and hopefully we'll be able to actually have that. For those of you who know that relying on the state for electrical inspection or plumbing inspection or building inspection is a fool's errand half the time. So our grant writer starts on Monday, and she'll have lots of work. And finally, just on the ambulance front, we're looking very good. We're doing final legal review of the billing contract, and then we will also be sending to you this month, or hopefully this month, a Medicaid reimbursement contract, which could have a value up to about $5.5 million over a full year of service. So that right there gets it going. So please let me know if there's anything you guys need to be prepared for a council meeting or for a agenda, but otherwise I hope that's brief and we'll take questions.
Okay, any further?
The electrical, can we outsource that, the inspections, or, are we backlogged? Is it a bad situation?
Yeah, well, the county poached our guy. No, thank you for the building county. But, yeah, so he left. We had one person who signed on and then he ghosted us. We were looking though, so, and it's an Eddy County issue for us. Their starting pay is $9 an hour more than what we were offering. So we're just gonna match it. And hopefully we'll have somebody.
Okay, any further comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. Next time, 3 minutes. Okay. We have a motion, anybody, I move we adjourn? Any discussion? Go.